Inside the Star here on your home of the Cowboys. Got the entire morning squad back together again. Shan, RJ Choppy, and Cowboys insider Bobby Belt. And I love the unique hot take from Daniel Jeremiah on what I think right now would be the Cowboy fans' dream scenario at number 12. This sounds like the number one ideal scenario.
Yeah, and that's Caleb Downs, who has been, we talked about, Dane Brugler had asked, we talked about this Friday, actually, I think you were out when we mentioned this, that Dane Brugler had started asking scouts, Caleb Downs is the best safety prospect you've scouted since ... And he said a few of them had said ever. And now you got to remember, there's some scouts who've been doing it for 10 years, and maybe this is just the best safety prospect they've seen in 10 years, whatever it may be. But there are a few of them who it's the best they've ever seen.
Wow.
Well, Daniel Jeremiah, who's had on some of his mock drafts Downs get to like 10 or 11, like get closer to Dallas, he apparently is tapping the brakes a little bit. He's not trashing the guy, but as you can hear here, he does not think he's the ridiculous talent that everybody else does.
I don't know that the stat sheet shows all of his ability. I don't know the testing is going to show all of his value. He's a little bit of a tricky one for me, to be honest with you, Downs is, in terms of the evaluation, because I hear him talked about like he's this all-time great player. I don't see that on the tape, but I see a very dependable, reliable, steady, solid player who, when you talk to people around there, just talk about, some of his value doesn't necessarily always show up unless you know what he's doing in terms of the communicating, the leading, the organizing, getting that whole group together.
So likes him, but that also just sounds like he's steady. He's not going to be a game wrecker.
Yeah.
You're not getting some like Derwin James or some Kyle Hamilton or Sean Taylor. You're getting
Mark Barron.
You're just getting steady, solid.
Who are his comps? Because I'm looking at the highlights right now, and I'm not seeing like the size jump out.
No, he's not like linebacker size. He's just kind of like typical safety size. So he's gotten. There's been a couple different mixes on him. I don't think it's a bad comp to say that he does things similar to and would be used similarly to Derwin James. Derwin's bigger. But I think he's similar in the way that he plays to Derwin, similar in a lot of ways to what Cooper DeJean does. DeJean's a better athlete, but he's a really good athlete. He's not going to test super well, I don't think, Caleb Downs, but he's as a functional, like, in pads playing on the football field, he's a top guy.
You just proved Daniel Jeremiah correct then. You said that the white guy is better athlete.
Well, that's it.
I don't need to see you go to the combine.
Cooper DeJean's the first white corner we've had since Jason Sehorn. I think that just speaks to him being a freak.
I've seen Eric Berry. I've seen Budda Baker.
Buddha's one that gets thrown around a lot, that he's kind of a bigger Budda Baker. But he's really, really good. And DJ kind of mentions it there. It's tough for him as an evaluation because there are things that you don't know that, like, naturally you're not going to know watching a play, the stuff that PFF won't acknowledge that they don't know. You're not going to have an understanding of those things. But when he talks to the people at Ohio State, they go, yeah, he does so much. Like, he's responsible for so much, and he holds so much in place. And
6'205".
Yep. Yeah, he's like I said, he's not like a crazy, ridiculous size, but he is a really good athlete. He's really good in coverage. He's really good at the line of scrimmage. He is one of the higher IQ players. We played that clip from Joel Klatt a couple weeks ago where he said he's the smartest defender he's ever watched. And I think that's what this team specifically could use is smart defenders right now. That's what they're in desperate need of.
So that's Daniel Jeremiah putting a little question mark next to Caleb Downs as this all-time great safety prospect. Dane Brugler going and searching for a backup just in case? So
we've had a couple of, over the last couple months, some people who follow the draft may have heard, and if you follow college football, you may have been aware of him, Dylan Thieneman, who is the safety from Oregon. And he had a really good freshman year a couple years ago for Purdue where he had like 7 interceptions. But Dylan Thieneman was a guy who a lot of people were saying, hey, if you could trade back, he might be worth targeting in the second round sometime, like getting in the middle of the second round, something like that. Thieneman was 25 on Daniel Jeremiah's list of the top 50 players. DJ had him up pretty high relative to everybody else. Well, The latest update came out from Dane Brugler on his top 100, and he's got him even higher than Daniel Jeremiah does. He's got Dylan Thieneman now at 23, which is right around that 20 range, which if that's the case, if the NFL is looking at Thieneman as being talented enough to go in the back end of the first, now you could start saying that might be somebody that's in play at 20. And this entire time, we haven't really felt like there's any other safeties that could be in play in the top 20 other than Downs.
Right.
But if Thieneman is a guy who's starting to pick up steam, he would be an intriguing one. I loved the idea of him in the second round. He's a second round player to me. I don't think he's a first rounder, but man, he does a lot of that versatility stuff that you are wanting these days, of being able to play the deep middle, being able to play in the nickel a little bit, do some stuff at the line of scrimmage. His biggest thing that he just doesn't do as well as Downs is he's just not as good covering straight up man-to-man. He's really good reading the ball as the deep middle. He's really good making plays on the ball as a safety. He can do some stuff in zone coverage. If you're just asking him to like cover the slot, though, in individual man coverage, it's not as good. There are moments where he has some issues there.
We are going to be heading out to the Combine in Indianapolis with co-host Brian Broaddus next week here on the morning show, while the other crews are in surprise for Ranger spring training, and our Combine coverage is going to be brought to you by Yorgi Pet Care Connectors, East Dallas Diesel, Best Buy Windows and Siding, and the on-time experts.
I don't know how G-Bag is going to handle only having 3 guys on the show for a whole week. I don't know how they're going to, especially out there in Arizona.
Oh, no. Well, it won't be a whole week.
No, Broaddus is going to be on the show.
Yeah.
He's going to be
double duty.
He's going to be on the
see you in
headset.
Oxnard,
Yeah, he's going to be on the headset during the afternoon.
And he's
trying to swipe our guests, I'm sure.
And he should be doing their show, I think, on Monday, because we're leaving Tuesday. He may be doing their, it could be Monday and Tuesday, but no, that's how desperate Broaddus was to get back out to Indy. You were on the trade block for that week, because you were Mr. Baseball.
That's right.
We're going to trade baseball for football. But he was so desperate, he's like, I'll just do double duty. So morning and afternoon. And 14 other podcasts.
I mean, that's the thing. He's doing podcasts when we're on the air anyway. Like, he's recording 3 podcasts regardless.
Yeah.
So he'll just put those on hold for a little bit.
Nice.
Come jump on with us. He is, this is as excited as I've ever seen him. Just knowing he gets to go back to Indy. Because it's been a
He's
minute.
so excited he comes in here and breaks the microphone every day.
I know. I told him to stop. I told Eric. I texted Eric a couple weeks ago. I was like, tell Broaddus to stop touching the GD mic and turning it upside down.
Why don't you
She
just
was
tell
like
him?
incredibly
Why don't you just
pushy.
buck up and tell him.
Because I don't want to be called incredibly pushy when I die.
It's a bad running joke, Bob.
Just not a fan.
That was a good job.
How you all didn't have him win worst take? I was furious.
I thought I voted for Broaddus.
I don't remember who won. I think it was Randy Moss.
I
won.
thought I voted for Broaddus.
I think you voted for Moss.
How? RJ?
Eric voted. Well, I think Eric screwed it up. We brought Eric in. He
Eric
voted
was in
Moss.
here.
What are the Tolos are supposed to decide it? No one cares what y'all think. Bill Barnwell with some trade proposals. Now, we went through half of these yesterday, RJ, but you can kind of pick and choose at which ones you liked or hated. The Cowboys one, Bobby absolutely destroyed it. Kenny Clark and a 7th?
For a 6.
For a sixth round pick and return.
That would be like that. That would make the Micah trade look so bad. Even worse. If you think it looks bad now, if you had traded Kenny Clark and a 7th for a 6th, I mean that is what a giveaway that would be 8 months after the trade.
Bobby and I were both in on Kyler and a 6 going to the Jets in exchange for a 4th.
Okay, so I was interested in how you guys were gonna react to this one, because I'm intrigued by this, because this goes against everything we've always thought about the QB position. Always like, get a rookie, get on that rookie contract, let him get 5 years of free play, and then go. But the way these quarterbacks are not developing the way they should, it's almost as if do you decide to go the Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Danny Dimes, Sam Darnold, hit me some more names, right? Jared Goff, whatever route, right? Whatever route it is, where they don't necessarily play great the first 5 years, but they figure the sport out a little bit. And then do you do that with Kyler? Now, like, the question is, like, has Kyler figured out the sport? Can he stay healthy too? But if you're the Jets and you're not going to get your number 1 pick, right? You're not going to get Mendoza. Ty Simpson is what? Maybe you don't. Maybe you still draft Ty. Maybe you bring in Kyler, but you still draft Ty if he's available, if you could trade up from the second round later on or whatever, trade back, and you could still get Ty. I'm intrigued by this.
DJ Moore and a first gets you Max Crosby in Chicago.
How
many
That
times-
was getting destroyed on Reddit, by the way, yesterday by Raiders fans. They were like, Barnwell needs to be fired.
So
It's not enough back.
We've had this one texter just text us all the time, DJ Moore for Max Crosby.
Yep.
And he's been saying this for like 4 weeks now.
Yeah, he hosts mornings on the Grande.
Has to. And has to. But if you know, what is the number for Max?
And Chicago picks at 25. What do you mean? What is the number?
Like what is the trade return?
value.
Yeah, what is the value?
We did that yesterday. I threw out a first and a second. I don't think it gets you the Micah package. It could, but just in terms of the age, I would think a first and a second. But someone like Philadelphia who may want to push it over the top, I could see 2 firsts. You were interested in this one. The verbally abused Keon Coleman finally gets out of Buffalo, goes to Jacksonville. Buffalo maybe gets, Barnwell says, Bills finally get their wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen. He didn't play like it last year. Brian Thomas for Keon Coleman.
This is interesting to me because, you know, the Jags would get their first round pick back.
Yeah, because it's Thomas and a fifth.
Thomas and a fifth for Keon Coleman and a first.
Yeah, so the Jags don't have a first this year because they traded it for Travis Hunter. So Cleveland's got their first. So they would get their first round pick back. They're still in. I think the Jags are still in build mode, even though they had a good year last year. They're probably still in build mode. And for whatever reason, Brian Thomas and Trevor Lawrence just didn't get on the same page last year. Maybe Keon needs a change of scenery. Give Brian Thomas over to Buffalo. Let Josh Allen get his guy.
Keon definitely needs a change of scenery. It sounds like everybody agrees on that.
The Vikings try another quarterback and get Mac Jones in a third, and they give San Francisco a second, a fifth, and a future third. So Mac Jones, some quarterback insurance for J.J. McCarthy.
I guess so it's Mac and a 3. Okay, so I was thinking a second round seems kind of high for Mac Jones. I assume they're going to do something there in Minnesota. Whether you like JJ or not, he does get hurt, and something's gone on there. They don't seem to be in love with him anymore like they were last year.
Which, by the way, Mac Jones apparently did say at Super Bowl. He confirmed the conspiracy theory that was out there. He said Kyle Shanahan wanted me the whole time. He wanted to take me at 3, and he just wasn't able to.
What about the real conspiracy about the electronic substation? Let's get everybody hurt. That's all I want to hear from Mac on.
Why do you want to hear from Mac on it specifically?
Because he was out there.
No, but he didn't get hurt.
Does his legs feel weak?